Today, I thought I'd share a few of my thoughts on the Claudine Gay story, which I've been following along for a while now. It looks like we finally concluded the story. This week, Mademoiselle Gay stepped down very reluctantly as head of Harvard. That's right, Harvard, that fine institution with a $50 billion endowment. That's right, folks, that's the size of their endowment, where a liberal four-year arts education costs a mere $320,000 US. That's right, same place. Anyway, so why did Mademoiselle Gay have to step down? Well, a couple of factors. She went before a U.S. congressional hearing about a month or so ago, during which she had a very hard time condemning and defining basically genocide. That's right, that was her big struggle. She couldn't really pin down genocide exactly when it came to Jewish and Israeli folks. Now, if you were to ask Miss Gay on when it came to LGBTQ, anybody who got misgendered, she could probably define that genocide very quickly. I'm sure she'd know it right away. But when it came to this topic, she had a very hard time. Now, what was the ripple effect of that? Well, it showed the vast majority of the American people what had happened to fine institutions of higher learning. They were no longer that. They were just places of leftist ideology, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. They were places that only taught kids that they're either a victim or an oppressor, and that's it. And generally the oppressor, actually 99.9% of the time, the oppressor is always white or anybody close to white in color or nature. And anybody dark or black is basically a victim. That's right. That's what these children were being taught for $320,000 a year. And it seemed like some people took umbrage with that. Now, the other group that also seemed to have taken, and realistically took umbrage with it, were basically Jewish and white liberal donors to these fine universities. Folks who had been doling out tens of millions of dollars so their children could have that degree, that Harvard stamp, that basically gave them the entrance to the club and basically allowed them to say to the dinner parties, hey, my kid's got a Harvard degree. What does yours have? Oh, you State College? Ha, 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 ha. Anyway, that's what happened. These folks who were donating these tens of millions of dollars said to Harvard, no, we don't agree with the fact that you essentially are promoting the genocide of our own kids, our kids. And no, we're not going to give you any more money, and called for her to be stepping down. Anyway, it took a while, and as this momentum was building, and it seemed like for a while it was calm because the university backed Mademoiselle Gay. But then, as it turns out, it was discovered she was a plagiarist. That's right. She had gotten this position, and I believe she was the shortest president in Harvard history, I think about 6 months or so. But she got this position, and it seemed like nobody really vetted her very well. And I think that happens when you're promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, because you're not looking for the people with the best merit, abilities, or qualification. You're filling quotas. It's window dressing. And I, for one, kind of prefer my people to be skilled or trained. If I was needing a thoracic surgeon, I don't want somebody who's a diversity, equity, inclusion hire. I want the best surgeon operating on me. But that's me. Call me normal. I guess leftist, crazy libtards, they prefer the other route. But whatever. Anyway, as it turns out that she was a plagiarist. She took a lot of her ideas, or a bunch of her ideas on some of her papers and her PhD thesis and stuff from other folks. Not just ordinary folks, but other black folks. That's right. She took ideas from her own people. Now, you would think that that would have been in itself an embarrassment for her, but no. The university doubled down on that one and kind of used some colorful language and didn't really call it plagiarism. It was sort of like the rewriting of the language, and to make it sound like it was really just a little dalliance. I mean, she just kind of saw something, and maybe it just kind of spurred her on to have another thought, even though the thought was virtually the same as what somebody else wrote. But anyway, it looks like finally the pressure got to be too much, and Mademoiselle Gay did step down. Now, you would be thinking, okay, well, that's the end of the story. No, couple of factors. She stepped down, yes, but she will continue to teach at the university. I know you're thinking someone who's a plagiarist can't define genocide, can't really clearly spell it out, gets to teach children. Yeah, absolutely. When your goal is indoctrination and brainwashing and turning them into leftists, why not? And you know what she gets paid for that? $900,000 a year. That's right, folks. $900,000 to continue to brainwash kids and be a plagiarist. But hey, now the other interesting fallout from the story is some of you might have heard the name Ibram Kendi. Well, he's been the big pusher for all of this whole ideology, this oppressor thing, this, blacks being oppressed, everything else, systemic racism, all this stuff. Anyway, he felt that it was very racist, and the reason she was driven out from her post is because of the color of her skin. No, not the fact that she couldn't define genocide and she was a plagiarist. No, it was all skin related. Now, he also had a great idea to solve the problem and to make sure that the best person coming forward is put in the position of Harvard and running it next time. So what did he advocate? The next president of Harvard should also be a black woman. That's it. So I think that sounds a little racist. No, we're excluding a whole bunch of people, like you could be white, you could be women of a different minority, you could be a white woman, but no. Apparently under Mr. Kendi's world and people like him, they believe that the best way to defeat racism is to double down and be more racist. Sure, kind of makes sense to me, I guess, sort of, I don't know. So that is the solution that they have. And they don't see anything wrong in that because it's just making for all the decades, centuries of oppressive things that have been happening. I guess in his world, plagiarism really is racist. Calling her a plagiarist is really racist because I guess old dead white guys had some of these ideas and they passed them on where other people took them, and the ideas belonged to someone else before. So if she stole those ideas or borrowed those ideas, really she was entitled to them because somebody had them for, you know what? Anyway, she's a victim. That's right. At $900,000 a year, folks, she's a victim. Anyways, the good news of all of this is that people are finally starting to wake up and pay attention. I think they're finally realizing that this diversity, equity, inclusion bullshit, for what it is exactly that it's causing a lot of problems. We have a lot of people that are underqualified due to this running positions and posts. And it would appear in the last few years, we've seen evidence of that in how things have been handled and what has happened and gone on. And none of us, if we were in our right mind and intellectually honest, as I used in my example earlier, if we needed a thoracic surgeon, would want a DEI hire. We would want the best person if we're being intellectually honest. However, the people on that side of the aisle, those who see the world only as victim and oppressor, well, they can't face honesty because they think they're angels. They are the people who get everything right, and those who disagree with them are essentially the devil incarnate. Anyway, hopefully 2024 will make a little bit more progress, but I am starting to see it, folks. People are finally starting to push it back against this insanity. Oh, and one final thing. If any of you white liberals watch my videos, you feel sorry for being white, and you think that you have the market cornered on being racist, afraid not. You're not alone. Everywhere, no matter where you go in the world, there are racists. You know why? Because there's assholes everywhere. They exist in every nation, every place. And in fact, you could probably even find one in your home. Simple. Go in the bathroom, look in the mirror. There's one staring right at you. Anyway, I do appreciate it. Please post any comments you have. You can also follow me on my Rumble and my Locals account. If you haven't subscribed to my channels yet, please do so. I'm also on X, Twitter at Camera612, and I will see you next time.